Thank you, Anna, and good evening, Frankfurt. Even the people from Offenbach, you're very, very welcome here. So I'm Sharon von Simson, I'm British, so yes, I am here simply to escape the Brexit. But my talk tonight is about bringing the best out of people. Think for a moment of the best person you ever worked for. How did that person make you feel? Because the heart of great leadership, whether you're a project manager or a parent, is to create positive emotion. Leadership has real impact. If you work for a bad boss, you're twice as likely to leave your company. And if you feel powerless at work, you're twice as likely to have a heart attack. Gallup did a study in the early 2000s. They spoke to 10,000 people about somebody who'd had a positive leadership influence on their life. People said this was someone they could trust, someone with compassion, who cared about them as a person, someone who provided security, and someone who provided hope. Think of Barack Obama in the 2008 presidential election. Yes, we can. So, how can you be the leader that other people need? First step is simple. Be inspiring. This is actually a straightforward process. If you want to inspire somebody, use the VIP process. V is vision. Where are we going? I is importance. Explain to the person why the task or job you want them to do is important to reach the vision. But the kicker is P. Make it personal. Explain why that person, specifically them, based on their skills, their experience, their personality, is the ideal person in the world to do this important task to reach the vision. So, tick in the box for inspiration. What else do you need to do? This is the double World Cup winning women's US soccer team. And you can imagine that on the eve of this year's World Cup tournament, their coach, Jill Ellis, gave them a pretty inspiring speech. Ladies, we're here to win. And when we do, we don't just win a tournament, we make history. I have to apologize to Jill Ellis. She actually sounds nothing like that. Inspiration done, team fired up. What did Jill Ellis do? Go back to her hotel room, crack open a cold beer, and settle back to watch the tournament on TV? Of course not. She was giving feedback before the game, halftime tips, after the game, yelling from the sidelines. Frequent feedback is how to develop great performance. And in a work context, if you ask people how often they would like to receive feedback, it's daily. Now, what kind of feedback works best? When I was 13, I did a French exchange. I went to stay with a lovely family near Paris, and my French exchange partner, Sylvie, she was very keen for me to improve my French. So, what she did was, every time I spoke, she would carefully correct every tiny detail of what was wrong with what I'd just said. Needless to say, at the end of 2 weeks, my French was still moyen. I had to look that up. It means moderate. If you want people to do really well, you need to give them feedback that focuses on strengths. Catch them doing things right. That creates positive emotion and leads to peak performance. Unfortunately, the world is not perfect. And people don't always do everything right. So what do you do when you need to give constructive feedback? Well, the trick here is to keep your feedback balanced. And you probably think you already do this. Maybe you're a little bit sophisticated and you use the feedback sandwich approach. Positive feedback, constructive feedback, finish on a positive. A kind of 2-to-1 ratio. Well, it turns out if you want people to feel that your feedback is balanced, you need to use a 5-to-1 ratio. 5 positives for every negative. Psychologist John Gottman studied 700 newly married couples. He observed them for 15 minutes and simply counted how many positive interactions, how many negative interactions. And using this 5-to-1 ratio, he was able to predict with 94% of accuracy which of the couples would still be together in 10 years' time. So, giving feedback is great. What about taking feedback? When my son was a toddler, I had a lady who would collect him from kindergarten and take care of him until I came home from work. And one day, she gave me some feedback. She told me I needed to get home earlier and I needed to spend more time with my son. That really hurt. But it was very valuable feedback. Feedback is always, always a gift. Final point on feedback. Your feedback, no matter what you say and in whatever ratio, it will always land better if you have a genuine relationship with the person you're talking to. A relationship where they can talk to you not just about what's happening in their project, but what's happening in their life. People want to feel that you care about them as a person, not just a unit of production. Now, I'm a very task and achievement-focused person, and this is something I really had to learn, to focus on relationships at work. In fact, I had to make it a to-do. What I found was that not only did it make me a much better leader, but actually it also really built my own energy level. And that's important because the best leaders give their teams energy. And you can't give what you don't have. So how can you build and maintain your own energy level? Well, it's about how you work and how you play. Think of Beyoncé, singer, songwriter, actress, goddess. Imagine that instead of pursuing her dreams of stardom, that she had decided to play it safe and follow in her father's footsteps, selling Xerox machines. You get energy in work from doing what you are great at, doing those things you are born to do. Now, you probably also have to get other stuff done, and that's where you have choices. Either get yourself to a minimum level to deliver those things, or, possibly better, surround yourself with people who are great at what you're not great at, and give them their chance to shine. Then, there's energy from how you play. Hobbies, spending time with friends and family, taking a vacation. Do you truly take vacation, or do you just do conference calls with a better view? Then there's physical basics, sleeping enough, eating well, exercising. This is all stuff we know that we should be doing. The question is how to get it done. And here what we're looking for is marginal gains. Hacks that will give you an extra 1% of energy or an extra 1% of time. I have a couple of hacks. One is my schedule. If it's not in the schedule, it doesn't get done. I know I need breaks, so I schedule breaks. I know I need thinking time, so I schedule thinking time. My other hack is, if I really want to make sure I do something, I find someone who's my accountability partner. So for exercise, I see a trainer once a week, and that just keeps me on track. So in summary, bringing the best out of people is a learnable skill. Be inspiring. Give lots of good feedback, focusing on strengths. 5 positives for every negative. Take and learn from feedback. And take care of you and your own energy. I'd like to leave you with one final thought. Think of someone that you work with. How do you make that person feel? And how will you make that 1% better on Monday? I've been Sharon von Simson. Thank you very much.